Hey everybody, welcome to another lesson of learning Japanese. We are here with another anime line of the day. The show that we're going to cover in this video is going to be the anime series Servamp, and we are going to be taking a line from the 5th episode of this show. So, without further ado, here is the line that we are going to cover.
何が大人ですか？ブラックコーヒーかっこよく飲んで正論言ったら大人ですか？だったら俺はオレンジジュースが好きな子供のままでいい！
Okay, so this is kind of a two-parter line almost. What it's going to translate to in English here is something along the lines of, what the hell is an adult anyway? So you're an adult if you put on airs, drink black coffee, and argue rationale about everything. In that case, I'll stay a kid who likes drinking orange juice. Alright, so we're going to break down these lines bit by bit and see how everything's working here with the grammar, vocab, and all that jazz. So first up, we just have the word nani, and this is just going to mean what. We have the particle ga right after it, marking it the subject of the sentence basically. Then we have the word otona right after that, which means adult. So nani ga otona is going to quite literally translate to what is adult, or what is an adult. And then we see that we end the sentence with the copula des and the sentence ending particle ka to turn into a question. So what is an adult is literally what that first sentence in our line here is saying. Moving on, we have a long word that is a simple word. It's just the word black coffee in katakana. So just brakku kohi, and this is going to be the direct object. Before we show the verb that this is the direct object to, we are going to use an adverb, and that adverb is going to be kakkoyoku, and this is going to be the adverb form of the adjective that is kakkoii, which means basically cool. If you're not familiar with how to change adjectives into their adverb form, check out the video lesson that we did on this. The general process for e adjectives is basically just dropping that final e and replacing it with ku. But here we see that it's a kind of special case because the e adjective e, which means good, which is a part of the adjective kakkoii, which means cool, actually derives from the other, or not the other, but the same adjective yoi. Yeah, so this is a pretty interesting case, but basically it reverts back to yoi when we're conjugating it. So instead of dropping the final e in e, so we have one e left, and then we add the ku, so it turns into iku, which is weird. It's actually going to be yoi, we drop the e in that, and it turns into yoku instead. So kakkoyoku is what it's going to turn into. And so that's going to be our adverb. So basically, if kakkoii, which means cool, is going to be turned into an adverb, it's going to basically translate to coolly. So coolly doing something, and the doing something, the verb that we're doing is the verb nomu, because that's the next word that shows up. It's going to be in its te form, so nonde. And the reason why it's conjugated into this form is because we're just basically continuing the sentence. So coolly drinking black coffee, and the next word that we have show up is a pretty intense word. It's probably the most advanced vocabulary word here. It is the word seiron, and this is going to translate to something along the lines of a sound argument or a just argument. Right after that, we have the kind of hypothetical particle ttara, and it's being used here in a pretty casual way where you just insert it right after a noun or right after a clause to turn that clause into a hypothetical. So basically what he's saying right now is, if you drink black coffee coolly and you make sound arguments, then ... and the ... here is going to be the stuff that appears after ttara, which is just going to be once again the word otona, which means adult, and the desuka to end the sentence and turn to a question. So are you an adult if you drink black coffee coolly and make sound arguments? And so you might notice that in our translation we kind of naturalize it in English, so we instead say, so you're an adult if you put on airs, drink black coffee, and argue rationale about everything. That's just kind of our creative license to make the translation a bit more interesting, and yeah. So let's hear this whole line back one more time. Nani ga otona desu ka? Brakku kohi kakkoyoku nonde seiron ttara otona desu ka? And this is going to translate to, what the hell is an adult anyway? So you're an adult if you put on airs, drink black coffee, and argue rationale about everything?
何が大人ですか？ブラックコーヒーかっこよく飲んで正論言ったら大人ですか？
And now let's just do the subsequent line really quick as well. We have the line, Dattara ore wa orange juice ga suki na kodomo no mama de ii.
だったら俺はオレンジジュースが好きな子供のままでいい！
And this is going to translate to, in that case, I'll stay a kid who likes drinking orange juice. First up, we have the phrasing dattara, and this is once again the ttara form. It's proposing a hypothetical here, so if that's so, we see here that it's basically just going to be following the copula da, and that's because we are basically referring to the sentence before this, so we can kind of do that. So dattara is basically just saying if that's the case, and the word that is referring to what was said right before this. Right after that, we have the word ore, which is the first person pronoun. That means I, basically. We have wa, marking I as the topic of the sentence. Then we have, again, another katakana word of another beverage, orenji juice, and this is going to be orange juice. We see the ga suki grammar pattern coming in, which just means to like or love. So orange juice ga suki is going to be to like orange juice. And then we have the particle na right after suki, because suki is in fact a na adjective. So if we're using it to describe somebody or something, then we're going to put the particle na right after it to be in between the word suki and the noun that we're about to use, which is in this case the word kodomo. So kodomo means child or children or kids. So what we have here is orenji juice ga suki na kodomo. That's just going to be a kid who likes drinking orange juice. Continuing now, we have the particle no, because this is basically starting a noun of a noun modification using kodomo as the first noun. So the kid who likes drinking orange juice is the first noun in this noun of a noun modification, and the second word is going to be the word mama, which is an interesting word because it's basically kind of a grammar pattern in and of itself. So mama is kind of hard to translate literally, but kind of in this case, the probably most appropriate literal translation would be something along the lines of rate. So usually when we see the word mama, it'll be after a word like kono. So we'll say like kono mama de I, and this would mean something along the lines of at this rate, everything's going good, or it's good at this rate. So if we apply that to this sentence, it's basically just saying at this rate, I am in staying a child who likes orange juice. That's good. We see the de right after mama, so that's basically the same thing as what I just said in the grammar pattern. So orenji juice ga suki na kodomo no mama de I is basically going to translate to it's fine if I stay at this rate or this position of being a kid who likes orange juice, basically. And so when we naturalize that in English, let's sum up the whole line. Once again, dattara ore wa orenji juice ga suki na kodomo no mama de I is going to translate to, in that case, I'll stay a kid who likes drinking orange juice. And this is, of course, replying to that line about adults drinking black coffee.
何が大人ですか？ブラックコーヒーかっこよく飲んで正論言ったら大人ですか？だったら俺はオレンジジュースが好きな子供のままでいい!
And so yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video lesson. This has been another anime line of the day using the 5th episode of the anime series Servamp.